Hi guys, hope you can hear me very well. I know I'm about 10 minutes late, but I was trying to get on and it was just not allowing me. But thank you for your patience overall. So, for those of you who do not know me, if you're new to my channel, I'm Khrista-Lee Amore, CEO and founder of Amore Bookkeeping, which is a virtual firm. And I hope you like hanging out here. So I've been MIA for about a year now. And that's partly because of the reason why I was also not able to upload this video. My devices kept acting up. Um, I normally record on my phone. The phone was fine, it just started being damaged. The screen was broken, fixed it, it got broken again, I fixed it. And that cycle just was endless. My laptop camera was not great, and so I did not like the quality of the videos that were being produced on it, so I just didn't record on there. And after a while, I just stopped trying to figure out how to record because life got so overwhelming. I went back home to Jamaica and I was just trying to figure out how to navigate everything. So I just hadn't been uploading in a while. And since the start of the year, my mom has just been on my back. Aren't you going to start going back on YouTube? Aren't you going to go back on YouTube? And I was like, you know what? I kept coming up with all the reasons why I couldn't go back on because I didn't have anything to film on. And so I kept putting it off. We're in July, which means I've been putting it off for 7 months. And I actively, at least, let's say 6, because for this month, I've actively been trying to upload a video and it just kept getting, um, I just kept getting detours. I'm trying to film on my laptop. I filmed the video twice, 3 times actually. When it comes to editing, I can't edit the video. My laptop kept freezing up. So I said, okay, let me move to my phone. The phone kept freezing up. I was like, you know what? Today, literally now, so I'm going to be looking at my notes because today I literally, like an hour ago, felt like, you know what? No more excuses. I'm going to go live. Even if I don't have anything to edit on, I'm just going to go live. I hope you guys value the content this way until I get that started out. But this is just what I'm going to be doing. All right. So, in this video, I'm just going to be talking about what's going on, my entrepreneurship journey, why I started the bookkeeping business, what I'm doing. I'm going to be building on tips that I've learned from my dad and so forth, and just why I felt like this is actually my baton to take on and all of that. All right. So, we're going to start off by talking about my debt journey. Okay. So, I made a video on my channel last year talking about the only reasons to borrow debt. One of the reasons why I think debt can be helpful is if you're going to be investing in yourself, right? That's just progressing your learning and improving your skills and abilities. If taking up debt is a way to get there, that's on you. But I have a personal relationship with it from I was younger. So, like I said, my dad influenced my business journey a lot. My dad has been an entrepreneur for the past 30 years. He's been a solopreneur, doing business, all that. I grew up around it. I grew up seeing it firsthand. So it really shaped my perspective on how I was going to go about um, careers, right? So that's my first influence I saw in doing business. But like I said, he's been a solopreneur, which meant that he's the only one doing it. That was his main job, his main source of income. It was his only source of income. And so, fueling the business, he had to take on a lot of debt in order to sustain the business. So, from this business, he's sending us to school, he's providing for the family, all of it. So, he's always just working to pay back this debt, to keep the business afloat, all of that. And one of the things that he said to me that was particularly important that I still carry to this day is that he said, if you are interested in entrepreneurship and you decide that's the path that you want to take, my advice and something that I wish I had done differently is to have a stable 9 to 5 and to build a business on the side. That allows you to have a lot more flexibility. That allows the business to be able to grow because you're not straining the business income because you're taking everything out of it. Every single time a dollar comes in, you're taking it out to do whatever you need to do, right? So the business has a lot more breathing room and it can just fly and flourish. And I've taken that advice very seriously because I know that when you're building a business, you have to build it with the end in mind, right? You're building it because you think that it's going to grow, it's going to give you financial freedom, or whatever the reason why you started this business. So if you're building the business and every single time you get a dollar, you're going to take it out, it's not going to grow, you're going to stifle it. So because I saw him do that and that was his reality for a while, um, it just really stuck with me that you have to make sure that, when you're doing a business, you build it that way. But the other part of that was also he took out a lot of debt and he's building this business, he's trying to raise a family and all of that as well. But he's never owned because he's starting to build a business, is in the infant stage, however you want to call it. And he's working extremely hard just to pay off his debt. So I kind of grew up with a bad relationship with money because I every time I would ask him for money, he would tell me, I don't have any money. And I'm thinking, how do you not have money and you're working all the time? And so one of the things that I said to myself was I never wanted to have debt because having debt would mean that you're never going to be home for your family and you're just going to be controlled by something else. And so when I had to take out debt, which was, by the way, for college, at the time it felt like the only way forward. It felt like that's what I had to do because I grew up hearing everybody say, go to college, go to college, go to college. And I'm the oldest child. Nobody before me, my parents did not go to college. And so it felt like something that I had to do because that's the way, right? That's how you get a good job, all of that. So fortunately enough, though, and thankfully enough, I got a scholarship. So when I came to study, my tuition was paid. I only had to, when I came to the US to study, I only had to think about rent and insurance and stuff like that. So, but I had to, after I graduated my bachelor's and I went on to do my master's, that's when I took out the debt because that was a time where I had to finance it. So I was working full time. I couldn't keep up with the price of the tuition because it was a lot of money. So I had to take out some debt to balance that. And that's where the debt started. So it's been a couple of years now I graduated. I'm currently doing my second master's. So I had to take some debt for that as well. And it just feels like the cycle has just been endless. And the psychological part of it, given the fact that I've been trying to pay off these debts and it just felt like it's constantly piling, that psychological part of me, it just brings me back to the childhood where I'm just like, I I felt like just because I didn't want to end up in this spot, I ended up in this spot anyway. And so that's just the journey and the part of it that I am just navigating at this point. And then I'm thinking, okay, I'm building a business in the middle of all of this because even though it's going in a way that I didn't intend for it to go in terms of me having this debt that I have right now, it's a part of the story. And I never saw my father give up, which means that's not an option for me. So I have to just keep going and so forth. So that's just been I'm looking down because I have my notes here. I was absolutely not prepared for this live. I just felt like I just had to do it, but I'm looking down because my notes is here. But so repeating that cycle of debt is really what has just been keeping me stuck. So when I said that life has been happening for the past year and just everything just keep going on, I've also just not been in the best place because I've just been scrambling and trying to figure out how am I gonna clear out this debt, how am I gonna get it off my back and so forth. And so that's just been that part of it. So this is really just to encourage you guys, if you are going through something, maybe it's not dead, but maybe it's a cycle that you felt like you didn't want to repeat and you're repeating it. Like, I understand your pain, I am here with you. Like, I understand that more than anything else at this point. But something very important to pay attention to, I don't know if I'm not going to get into the spirituality of it, I don't know your beliefs, but for me personally, what just keeps me grounded is just knowing that God is watching over me and He has my back and everything. So I'm not alone. And this, He already figured it out. I just have to walk into that. Right. But it's just an encouragement that when you think about the things that you don't want to achieve, you kind of draw them to you. So you have to focus on the end and focus on the things that you actually want to achieve, and maybe they just come. All right. So now I'm going to talking about what started this world bookkeeping fiesta. Like, why did it even come about, right? All right. So when I was younger, as I said, I grew up in this entrepreneurship. Also, my dad has been doing it all my life, and I just started doing the business. I just got so fascinated by it. So when I was in high school, I decided I was going to study accounting because, that's how you count the money, that's how you understand it. I saw my dad, and even though he's not where he wants to be, but I saw him struggling a lot. And I'm just like, what makes a business grow? I just became so obsessed with trying to figure it out. So I was like, okay, the money, right? So, helping him count the money and see what's going on with that part. I'm like, if I understand the money, I can understand what's happening in the business. I can understand how the business is struggling, why it's struggling, and then I can probably help people to grow their business because now I understand it from the foundation. So I decided, okay, I'm going to study accounting in school, and I did that. But when I just started, I didn't understand anything in accounting. I was struggling flat out. I was just like literally failing. Like, well, it's high school, so you're not really failing, but you feel like you're failing because you don't understand anything. And so what I did, I stayed back with my teachers after classes. I would just be in their faces. I'm in every single office hour. I'm trying to figure this out. And I had such an amazing teacher. She really helped me through. And I got to the point where I could literally do accounting with my eyes closed, which was the dream at the time. And so I did it. I went through 6E, and the day of CXC exam, I studied so much for this accounting exam. I did not care about anything else. My main focus was just that I passed it. The day of the exam, I remember nothing. I was literally there just trying to figure out what am I going to write on this paper. I asked the officiator to let me go to the restroom. I went to the restroom. I was literally in there. I don't know if I was praying or not. I wasn't spiritual at that time or religious either. So I don't think I was praying, but I was just like, God, I need to pass this. I need to pass this because I felt like that would have been the gateway for me to understand businesses, right? And so I used the bathroom, went back to my exam, and funny enough, by the time I sat down over my paper, I remembered everything. I just filled out all of that paper. I got one of the highest grades in the school for accounting, and that was just the start of me. Okay, now I'm gonna really take this serious. So I decided to pursue it in college. I went on to college, did my 4-year bachelor's, but during the process of me doing the bachelor's degree, I kind of stopped liking accounting because when my high school accounting experience and my college accounting experience is completely different. No, a college is the way more professional side of accounting, and you're going to conferences, you're dressing up, you got to create an impression. That kind of took the fun out of it for me, and I was just not enjoying it anymore. So when we would go to conferences, for example, the NABA conference, which is the National Association of Black Accountants, for those of you who don't know, I was there. I went to all my sessions and everything like that, but I was hiding internally. I was so afraid to go up to a recruiter and to ask a recruiter to introduce myself to a recruiter and to ask them if they're, what if I would be a good fit. Not basically ask them that verbatim, but I mean like to introduce myself to them, to see what kind of jobs they have opening, to see if I like the jobs, if we made a good fit for each other, the job and me. I was so afraid of doing it. And so I went to the recruitment sessions, but I did not really have a lot of interpersonal relationships with. Sorry. I didn't have a No, this is the problem with you going live. You're seeing everything that I'm doing. That's scary. But anyways, I did not have that connection, that interpersonal connection with anybody there. So it just felt like I was there, but also I did not get the desired outcome like I saw my peers got. Because mind you, a lot of the peers that I went to the conference with today, they have full-time employment from some of those companies that were at the NOVA conference. They didn't necessarily get the job there, but they got introductions. They created their momentum for themselves in order to really go about this. So it worked out for them in some ways, but I was just I my love for accounting kind of fell out of the window at that point. And so I was just trying to find, okay, what am I gonna do? I've literally known accounting from high school. I'm doing it now. I don't like it anymore. What's this new thing? What am I gonna do? And so I was literally almost graduating at this point when I'm deciding to myself that I don't like accounting anymore. So you imagine, right? I was literally talking to my friends. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't like accounting. I want to change my major. I couldn't change my major. So I started to take on some extra classes. I was like, what are my interests are outside of accounting? I started doing writing. I started doing all kind of stuff, like trying to find my passion. Okay, I'm gonna write a book. I probably have so many books that I've partially written that have not been published, and I think I did publish one. I have to go back and look on what the name was. Something Road to Billions, I think, something like that. But I I didn't really promote it or anything just because I felt like it was just kind of not really going anywhere. But I just said, okay, I was starting writing. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go into my creative era, and that did not really go anywhere. So I said, okay, what's next? I personally have a very argumentative personality, and so I was like, you know what, I could literally do law, because everybody's always like, you should be a lawyer, because I'm always defending something. I'm always trying to find some way to come up with something to defend. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do law. I took out the course. This was actually my first day. Actually, I took out the course on my credit card. I could not pass the exams that were in the course, much less to actually take the LSAT. And so it just felt like I put myself in debt for no reason, and I still graduated with the accounting degree. When I graduated, I went, I was job searching at this point. This was 2021, by the way. 2021, I graduated. I'm job searching and so forth. And, um, I was looking for accounting. I was looking for business analyst, anything. Because at this point, remember I said I didn't really like accounting again. But I didn't know have any other experience. I didn't have any background. And I remember one day when I was job searching, I kind of sat down on the floor just trying to figure out what am I going to do with my life. And it kind of just dawned on me, like I had a encounter. I had like a vision, or I don't know if you want to call it prophecy, but like a realization that the reason why I'm actually in this accounting field is because it's to help other business owners to not make some of the mistakes that my dad did, right? To understand the same reason why I started, because it's like, because so much years had passed between the time when I decided I was going to study accounting to by the time now I'm graduating. Because remember, high school, I did 5 years in high school, and then I did 4 years in college. That's almost 10 years. It's like I almost forgot, like, why am I in this in the first place? And so I was just like, okay, I am supposed to understand this so I can teach people about it. That's the reason why I'm here. And so let me just go on and do it, regardless of how I felt. I didn't really like it anymore, but I was like, you know what? If I am given this obligation to really just teach people what I know in this field, I'm just gonna do it. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna start the bookkeeping business. So that was the start of Amore Bookkeeping in a very long period. I've trying to condense it, but I still wanted to paint the picture so you can understand exactly where this all came from. So I started Amore Bookkeeping. I purchased a bookkeeping certification course, booming bookkeeping, and I was going through it. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give myself a year, and I'm going to make so much money, right? I went through the course, I watched everything, but I did not follow. I didn't follow everything down to the T. What I was doing was I started this YouTube channel, so I was posting on my channel. I, introduced my bookkeeping business, but I didn't really go in depth into what the business was or what's going on. I didn't really give that much of a tea on it. And so I did not tea, but you know what I mean, right? I didn't really go into much details. I kind of just like, if you want bookkeeping services, I'm your girl, right? And I kind of just started talking about business because I feel like I'm very passionate about it. I like talking about it. I like to share, especially from things that I've seen my dad gone through. And if you're a business owner and that can be a knowledge that is important to you, I want to share that with you so that you can grow your business. And so I was like, okay, I'm sharing all kind of stuff on my channel. If you want to check out what it's really about, you can literally go back and check. There's a lot of things on there that some may be of interest to you, some, may be of interest to somebody else, so you can share it with them. And also, for anybody who's joining the live right now, Khrista-Lee Amore, CEO and founder of Amore Bookkeeping. All right. And so I was just like, okay, let me just, I lost my train of thought. Um, I literally lost my train of thought. Okay. So I started the business. I said, okay, I'm doing the business. So I'm following booming bookkeeping. Yes, I'm following booming bookkeeping. I said I'm gonna do this for the year. I didn't follow everything down to the T. I was posting on my YouTube channel. Yes, posting on the channel, and I started to post on Instagram. I started to post on TikTok, and that was just my thing. So I was just showing up and just posting content. I wasn't reaching out to anybody. Well, people were reaching out to me for consultations, but it's just that whenever I went to do those consultations, they just didn't go anywhere, and so it just kind of left me in this loop. I wasn't getting clients, and I was just exhausted because I'm posting all the time and I'm not getting the return and the results that I wanted. And also because I'm not making money from it, I need to go get a job because we need money. Remember those debt that I told you about, they need to be paid, right? And so I was like, okay, so I need to. So when it started getting complicated for me to post, I just kind of just left it alone because I'm like, this is just a lot. But since I came back here, I said, okay, you know what? I need to really. It just never went away. I started doing a different business. I started making coconut oil in Jamaica, and I wasn't getting coconuts. So, which is the main problem because coconut is the main ingredient for coconut oil. So I was having a problem with that. So I had to stop that too. And that taught me a lot of things. I'm probably gonna make a video talking about, just things to keep in mind when you're starting a business because I just kind of went into it blindly. I didn't really consider all of the factors that I needed. I thought about them, but not down to lengths and not just thinking about them. But I did not have backups as to what would I do if this happened or what would I do if that happened. I needed to have that framework to understand that okay, if I'm doing this business, I need to consider everything that could go wrong and um, make a plan to go against that if I'm really going to be dedicated to this business. So I started the coconut oil. It didn't really last that long. I had so much orders and no coconut to make the oil. So that was just one of my main problems there. But it just never went away. Just like this YouTube channel, for me, wanting to come back on it never went away. It's the same thing. The desire to be talking to people about their finances and helping them to grow their business and understand the numbers, it never went away. So I decided that, you know what, I'm going to start back my Amore bookkeeping journey and so forth. So, you know, I because of the experience with my dad, the main reason as to why I decided on this journey, because I saw that experience. I just know that if my dad is having this problem, other people may be having the problem. So I just wanted to make sure that I could help him and help as many people as I can. So what I'm doing now to make that journey different from my bookkeeping business and it was for the last time, I'm posting on social media. So I started posting on LinkedIn, which is a professional network. All these people building my brand up in that way. And I haven't posted on Instagram yet, but LinkedIn has been my main posting platform right now. And obviously, I will be going back on Instagram shortly. But I also decided I'm going to start going live with my videos until I get my devices sorted out. So this is also going to be another avenue for that. But I have literally, within this month alone, I've literally reached out to over 200 people, just telling them about my business, just letting them know I'm not selling anything to anybody because at the end of the day, I think my business is valuable. I'm offering a lot of value to people who need it, who sees the importance in having structured, organized finances. Like bookkeeping is not just data entry, it's not just plugging in numbers, it's literally giving you freedom and clarity to understand what's going on in your business. And if you are serious about growth in any sort, that's a service that you would absolutely not ignore for your business. So I'm not reaching out to people selling. I'm just reaching out to them to let them know, hey, I have this bookkeeping business. If you're looking to take someone on, you can definitely reach out to me. I can have a conversation. I am very much aware that I'm not going to be a good fit for every single body because I know I like a type of people that I like to work with. Right? So that's fine. But maybe somebody has a business that they want to hire somebody. So I'm just, reaching out to people and posting my content, but I'm actively engaging with people, which is what an advice that I got from one of the bookkeepers in our support group for booming bookkeeping. And funny enough, I actually went back and watched the videos that are in the training, and that was actually one of the commentary in the videos, like, reach out to people and tell them you have this business. Let them know, like, let everybody know what you're doing. It's not a secret. You actually want customers, you want clients, so you need to reach out to people. And if that's something that you actually needed to hear, like, that goes for you as well. Like, if you have a business, you need to tell everybody about it. Like, why did you start it? So that you could know that you have a business, or so that everybody else could know. I know I'm rambling a lot. This, I've literally not gone live. My videos have all have been structured, so please bear with me. But I hope you're getting value and from this content. All right. So, reaching out to people, and it's really hard because at the end of the day, it's just like this is this glamorized idea going around of entrepreneurship that people are passing around. Everybody should be an entrepreneur. I don't think everybody should be an entrepreneur, because I do think that it takes a lot out of a person. And if you are not willing to put in what it takes, you're not going to be successful. And then you're going to think entrepreneurship is not practical. But if you really are going to think it's not practical, you can look around to see all of the successful entrepreneurs who have literally been doing it for years. It is achievable. It's just that it's not for everybody. It takes a special type of sacrifice. Like, there are four things that I've seen my dad, well, a lot of things I've learned from him, but four things that really stands out to me, I'm just gonna share it with you. One of those things is consistency is way more important than we give it credit to be. Like, my dad always says this, and it's so true. He's the first one, he's the last one to go to bed, and the first one to wake up every day. It's so true. He's up at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, going on the road, going to sell, because his business is selling to his consumers, to market vendors and stuff. And he's getting up 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and he went to his bed at probably 10, 11, or something, barely getting any sleep. I don't know how he does it. Like, every single time when I feel discouraged, I'm literally just reaching out to people. I'm literally just trying to get a client, and it just feels like I'm hitting a brick wall. I'm just like, this man literally does this every day. And for many years, it's almost been 30 years, over 30 years, and he's still doing it. How does he keep encouraged? It's just always been my question, but he keeps encouraged. And there's a lot of other, more successful entrepreneurs than my dad, who's been doing it for same amount, for less time, for even more time, and they have stayed consistent. So consistency is so important. We cannot give it enough credit, right? The next thing is, treat every customer like they are your only customer. The saying goes, we only get one impression. I don't remember what the saying was. But basically, you only get to make a first impression once. Sometimes you only get one time with people. And so you have to treat that one time like it really matters, because it absolutely does. Like, you can't take people for granted. You can't take your customers for granted. You want every customer to be a referral base for your business. Not everyone will be, but what if they are? What if you get one customer and they really like your service and they really like the way that you showed up, that they're just going to tell everybody that they know, and then that person tell everybody that they know, and then by the time you quit, you have a book of business just by offering good quality service to that one customer. All right, all of them have to be treated with respect and dignity, and like they're important to your business, because they are. All right. The next one is, keep your overhead low. Yeah, keep your overheads low, and I was gonna say light on the loan. But I don't think loans are always bad. But I do think you need to keep your overhead very low though. When you're starting up, when you're doing a business, you want to make profits. You cannot spend every single dollar that you get. You have to keep them as low as possible for as long as possible. That will extend your profit margin, right? And then over time, as you have to take on necessary expenses, and you do take them on. But like, you definitely have to keep that overhead very, very low, at least in the beginning, until you build up a lot more revenue stream. All right. And so, did I say three or four? That was the overhead. Um, You have to treat your business like it's a business from day one, even if you're starting out side hustling. Like you have to take it serious. You have to take it serious more than everybody else. It doesn't matter what you're saying. Like I literally, looking back on my childhood experiences, I recall just constantly sharing my dreams with people and they're just discouraging me constantly. And today I really kind of found out that it actually is a spirit that are in the people that are closest to you. The spirit of discouragement is a real thing. And when you're in an entrepreneurship, you're gonna get a lot of discouragement from people even who are close to you, and you cannot let it get in your head. So even if you have to, block them out for a time, whatever it is that's gonna work for you, do that thing. But you have to treat it as important and as a business, even if you don't have a client. When you get the first client, when you have 100 clients, you cannot treat your business like it's nothing and expect other people to respect it. So you have to just treat it like a business from day one until it accomplishes the purposes that you want it to accomplish for yourself. All right. So I am very passionate about talking to people about businesses. It's very important to me, not just because I want to make money, but because I want to see business owners succeed. Like I've seen my dad put in a lot of sweat and tears into his business, sweat and tears and hours, and I want to see him win. And just as though I want to see him win, I want to see every business owner win. It's very important to me, and I'm going to just keep showing up and talking about it. And I know I've been going for a while, and I hope you found some value in this. If you did, subscribe to this channel, share this video with anybody who could benefit from it, and share your stories in below. If you're an entrepreneur, what made you started? How is your journey going? What stage are you in your entrepreneurship journey? Let me meet you, introduce yourself. Let's chat. And if you know anybody who could benefit from having a bookkeeper, my information is down below. You can connect with me on socials, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can book some time on my calendar if you want to just talk. My consultations are complimentary for everyone, so you don't have to worry about a consultation fee. And even if we are not a good fit for each other, and somebody else may better serve you, I can refer you to another bookkeeper that I have in my network that maybe you guys could get along better. So you don't have to worry about feeling like you have to do too much. Let's just have a talk. Let's just have a talk and see where it goes. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for being with me today. And I will see you in the next one. Have a good day.